Try It Like It Created, and today we're going to be making a tag with a window. And so what I have here is two very lightweight pieces of cardstock, and we're going to stick those together with some washi tape, and then we're going to go ahead and die cut out a window. Now your window could be any shape. I'm going to use a circle, and I just dropped my die for that, so let me go grab that. All right, so I want to place my die where I want my window to be, and I'm going to hold that in place with washi tape as well. So I'm just eyeballing it, but if you need to measure, that is definitely something you could do. And then I'm going to go ahead and die cut both tags at the same time, hopefully. And I am using a small die cut machine that fits on my desktop. This one's called the Mini Maker. However, I don't know if it's available at the moment, so I recommend just, whatever die cut machine you have. This one does squeak when I use it. All right. Set that aside, and just before I move everything, I just want to make sure that that was cut through, and it was. And so now we can just remove our washi tape, and if we're having trouble with the washi tape removing because it was sandwiched through there, we can hit it with a little bit of heat, and that will help remove the tape. But I'm going to remove it from, oh goodness, sorry about that, dropping stuff. All right, so this one here, I feel like, I don't know if it's gonna cut or tear on me. I'm gonna work it gently and maybe just hit it with a little bit of heat. I just want to get those molecules moving a little faster so I can remove it without peeling on my paper. All right, so now we have two die cut circles that we can put aside for something else. And I'm going to leave the tape at the top because this is going to be our window, and we're going to work on putting our window glass in there. And so for that, my secret is going to be using packing tape. So I'm just taking off a long piece of packing tape here, and I'm just going to fold a little bit of it back so I can get it to stick onto my glass mat here. Or you know what else we could do? We could just lay it out here. Got a little wrinkle, hopefully that won't deter us. And I'm just going to use my washi tape here to hold it at the top and the bottom. And then we can also slide our die underneath to show us how much we need to fill. And I have a little speck of dirt there, but I think we're going to be okay. And then I'm going to take tweezers and some pressed flowers that I have, and these are flowers that my mom pressed years and years ago. So you can see they have an aged look to them, but still usable. And so I'm just going to pick some up with a tweezer here and create my image. And sometimes, like this one, I just dropped it, and so it may end up staying right where I placed it because I don't have a lot of choice when it comes to where they're going to go. I have one with a green leaf here, and I really like the use of the green leaf. So I think I'm going to try to place that in a way that we get the green leaf in our frame. Let's see. I know this flower, oh goodness, I'm breaking the flower, but I think I can hide it behind this other one. And the side we're going to be looking at is really going to be the other side of this. So I'm going to add one more flower, and I think I want a smaller one if I can find it. Thought I saw a smaller one. Here's another green leaf. Maybe we can tuck this one in. Right there. And then I'm going to put a flower on top of that side there. And if I can, I'm going to turn that one. Oh, it's stuck, so I'm going to go with that. All right, so I'm going to use that as my arrangement. These are very brittle since they're so old. And I'm just going to set that aside so I don't mess with that anymore. And then I'm going to pick up my tape here, and I basically just want to fold it onto itself, and I'm going to push in the center of the flower and push out from there. Don't care if it wrinkles in other areas, I just don't want it to wrinkle. And there is my arrangement. So you can see the wrinkle out here doesn't bother me as much because I'm not worried about where that's going to fall in our arrangement. So here I've got my tag with the window, and I can center that right in there. And in fact, I'm going to cut this bottom edge off because the way that it wrinkled, it actually got a little bit thickness there. So I'm going to go ahead and center that there. And that is what our window is going to look like. Now I have a choice. Do I want to decorate the outside here before we go on, or is this going to be it? And I think we'll go with this, and then I'll come back in and maybe do some stamping or some texturing around the outside of it. Actually, let's set that aside. All right. And oh goodness, we've got that tape up there. So I'm going to have to, let's take this apart for a minute. No, we're tearing, my paper's tearing. Okay, so maybe this one will be the front. I don't know. All right, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to leave as is and go at this a different route. Sorry about that. I was going to go ahead and, do some decorating. But since my paper is tearing, I'm going to run some glue I just filled my bottle, but I am having a little bit of trouble with the opening here. Okay. Let's see how this works. Can I get, there we go. All right. So I'm going to glue really close to the edge of my circle and then go around the rest of my tag here. And I am just going to kind of blend some of this out, although it feels pretty dry and tacky. So let's go ahead and place our center image there that we created with our tape. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the four corners so that it does stick well to the top tag. There we go. And then we're just going to sandwich everything together like so. And that glue that we're seeing there coming through will dry clear, but you can always wipe it off if you want, because that is tape, plastic tape. So you can see we've got a see-through window. So now I'm going to work on removing my washi tape. And once again, a little heat is going to... Alright, I'm tearing a little bit. I don't know if my washi tape is old or if it's from putting it through the die cut machine, but you can see here that I am struggling with getting it to remove off the tag, and it actually is leaving behind some sticky residue, which I'm not happy about. But I'm going to go ahead and hide that by using a little bit of ribbon. Now this piece here might be a little over the top, decorative wise. This is Ofray ribbon, and Ofray is going out of business. I think I picked this up at Ollie's at their sale. So I may use my tweezers to help pull this through since it's fighting me. Go in and grab the front piece there. I don't know about you, but sometimes crafting just is a little bit more difficult than we anticipate. And today is one of those days. So, all right, here we go. And then I have a sentiment. I was going to put it at the bottom. I'm wondering if I should put it at the top to hide the tear. Unfortunately, I like the placement of it better down here, but I think I'm going to go with it up there because, as I said, I've got that tear and that sticky, and I don't know that I have anything to remove that with except, I wonder if my sand eraser will pick some of that up. Okay, that worked, thankfully. All right, to show you, this is a mono, is it focused? I'm not sure. A sand eraser from Tombow. And it is great for getting off just little details on paper crafting. Kind of gently sands the surface down. And that saved us so that I can now put my word at the bottom where I want it. I'm going to switch out my glue and use a glue pen to coat the back of this. Makes it a little bit easier to get the coverage I want. pick that up with my tweezers. Get that right where we want it. And I do have a little bit of glue that's spread out, and hopefully that isn't going to color anything because it is a orange color. Ugh. All right, so I'm gonna call this one quits for the day because it gave me some issues, didn't it? So there we are. We have our window with our flower, and I need to remove some glue from the back there from that, and I think we're good to go.